Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the channel here in Kansas. It has been incredibly hot lately. It's been in the upper 90s and the low 100s. And because of that, we don't want to heat up the house any more than necessary when we're making meals. So it's good to either have some cold meals in mind or to do some cooking early in the morning. And in my case, I'm going to cook it outside in the turkey roaster so that I don't heat up my house any further. That works really well for me here in Kansas. I have a little table outside with a turkey roaster on it, and I have plug-ins out there where I can plug it in, and then we just bring the turkey roaster in when we're done so that it doesn't rain on it or anything like that, and it keeps from heating up the house. I have found even if I run a crock pot or bread maker or anything like that, even on my back porch, it will significantly heat up my house. Sometimes we think some of those smaller appliances really don't heat up that much, but when it is this hot, you really can feel the heat coming off of them, and it moves into my kitchen and some of the areas in my house, and then it really does warm it up. So I don't like to cook inside except stovetop unless I absolutely have to. These recipes are frugal. They're ones you can add to your recipe booklet when you're not sure what to make. I'm going to use hamburger today. I had bought some on sale for $3 a pound. So right now I'm low on chicken, but I have a lot of hamburger. So I've tried to think of what else I could make with hamburger that we hadn't had in quite a long time. And these recipes are always going to be with things I already have on hand. And so I hope this frugal inspiration helps you out today. So come along and join me. Hi, everyone. I'm Bonita from rural Kansas, and I am early retired. I retired early at almost 58 years old in October of 2023. I am now 60 years old. I am riding it out until Social Security kicks in, and I love frugal living. I share tips and tricks on this channel, and it has afforded me the opportunity and choices to have the freedom that I wanted at an earlier age. I hope you enjoy this video. So many of us get into ruts of not knowing what to make, not knowing what sounds good when it's really hot outside. And sometimes something hot doesn't sound good. But you know what always sounds good to me? Leftovers that I don't have to think about supper that night. I can just pull something out of the fridge, or my husband can pull something out to pack in his lunch, and I don't have to put a lot of thought into it. That's why I only cook 2 to 3 times a week, and I make extra so that I don't have to worry about cooking the rest of the week. And that's what we're doing in this video. So I pulled out about 3 pounds of that inexpensive sale hamburger, and we're going to use that up with other things we have on hand to make our meals stretch this week. Today I'm making some homemade Salisbury steak, and I'm making extra so that I can freeze and put in the freezer for a later date. I bought this hamburger on sale for $3 a pound. I'm using eggs and gluten-free breadcrumbs that I made on my own. I'm chopping up onion, and of course we are adding basil from the garden. I will be adding salt and pepper, and I have some milk that needs used up, and that's all that goes in this recipe. That's how easy this is to prep Salisbury steak. And then I will be using my own homemade brown gravy mix that is gluten-free. Now that I have this mixed up really well, I'm just going to form it into patties. I'm going to put it in this cake pan, and I'm going to cook them outside in the turkey roaster so I don't heat up the house. This is going to make about 12 4-ounce Salisbury steaks. Here is the first set of 6 all done. All I have to do is add the gravy and time to start the second 6. And there's no need to wash the pan. I just took out all of the grease and put the new ones in there, and we will just make our second batch. And I've shown you before, I like to take and reuse a jar, put my dry portion of the mix in the jar, and then put a label on the front that shows what I need to add that is liquid, or how I use the item that is in the jar. So what we're gonna need is 4 tablespoons of butter. I have 4 tablespoons right here. We're going to need 2 tablespoons of the mix, And we're gonna put that in the butter and let that mix together, and then mix in our 3/4 of a cup of water. This is a really great shelf-stable recipe for gravy. You can substitute the bouillon for whatever flavor that you want. This is a beef bouillon-based gravy mix, and gravy mixes cost so much in the store when we have the few ingredients we need at home to make it. And I make everything gluten-free. My husband is gluten-free, so the recipes you see on this channel are gluten-free. And if they're not, I will let you know. But like the Salisbury steak, those breadcrumbs, I just saved them from homemade gluten-free bread that I'd made, crumbled them up and froze them until I needed them. And then this recipe also has Bob's 1-to-1 gluten-free flour in it. It thickens up very nicely, and you will want to double this recipe for the gravy if you use it on the amount of Salisbury steak that I made. Here is the second set, and now I'm just going to whip up the gravy again, and I am done. Here is my husband's plate, and we just made a baked potato, and I added greens from the top of my onions from the garden and a generous amount of basil. I just kept putting basil on his potato, and he said, "You're making my potato into a salad." And I said, "You have to trust me on this. It is so delicious. You cannot have too much basil. I have not found where you can have too much, so just trust me." He said it was absolutely delicious. And just so you don't feel bad for him, my potato looked the exact same way. And I honestly needed a little bit more basil for the last 3 bites. My youngest daughter brought me some banana walnut bread that she made from scratch. I've already eaten a little bit of it, and about 3/4 of a loaf of her homemade sourdough. So my breakfasts are covered for a while. And my oldest daughter was busy canning tomatoes and making mint jam this week. My office is the warmest room in the house on these super hot days. It's supposed to be 99 today with a heat index warning. So I have all of the blackout curtains shut. I had to do it fairly early today because it started getting hot so early in the day. But it makes a huge difference in keeping the rest of the house cooler. My first bedroom here has my drying rack with my clothes on it. It's just too hot to even stand outside and try to hang clothes on the line. You could get overheated really, really quickly. Plus, we still have a lot of mosquitoes from the rain, and mostly those are in the evening, but that's when you would probably be getting your laundry down. So just to avoid all that, I'm just keeping the clothes on a drying rack when I do laundry twice a week. The heat is really hard on the plants. I still have a lot of pepper plants with a lot of blooms. I'm not sure I'm getting pollinated as well as I should because I'm not getting any produce off of them, but I'm still hopeful. And then I planted my corn rather late, but it's doing pretty well. And then my celery plants are still toughing it out in the heat. As you can see right now, this room is 85, 86 degrees. The living room is also about 85 to 86 degrees, but it feels a lot cooler in here. I do have a fan running, and it is shaded a lot better than the other room. We do not have central heat and air. We have 2 window air conditioning units. We have a large one in our living room, and then we have a small one in our bedroom upstairs. Heat rises, so it will get really, really hot upstairs during the day, and we will run that small air conditioner in our bedroom only with the door shut because I feel like getting good rest at night is so important to be worth anything the next day. But I am not uncomfortable. If I get uncomfortable, if I get too hot, I will sit in front of a fan, and if I get really hot, I will turn the AC on for maybe 10 minutes to cool down the room that I'm in, and then I'll shut it off again until or if I get overheated again. I grew up without AC, and I am more acclimated to hot weather than I am to cold. I also dress for the weather. I wear sleeveless shirts, shorts, and flip-flops most of the day. I keep my hair up as well. Keeping my hair off of my neck makes a huge difference. I have very hot, thick hair. And I have found as long as I dress for the weather and I sit in front of a fan and get most of my things done in the morning, I have to run my AC very little and I'm still comfortable. And I've showed you in other videos, I have sheets over our recliners, which also makes it cooler when you're sitting in front of that fan. So I don't want anyone to feel bad for me because this is how I choose to live. This is what I'm used to. And I would much rather have that small electric bill at the end of the month so that I have money for other things and I am not sweating. I'm not overheated, but this is how I am during the day when I'm home by myself. I can take the heat a lot better than my husband can. So if he comes home in the evening and he's really hot, he immediately dresses down for the weather. He puts on shorts and we sit in front of the fan. And if we get hot, we turn on the AC for a while and cool down the room that we are in. But that's how we are beating the heat here in Kansas. I hope you are staying cool wherever you are. And I know some of the regions that watch are actually having winter right now. So this may be out of season for you, but maybe you can tuck away some of these recipes and even use them in the winter if you want to use some frugal recipes or have some ideas when it does get warm in your region. Thank you so much for listening today and for joining me. If you enjoy these type of frugal inspiration videos, please give me a thumbs up and join our community and consider subscribing. We would love to have you here. Some of the comments are always wonderful and helpful, and I learned so much from you all as well. Thank you again for being here, and I'll see you in the next video.